frustration rather than headaches among Team Jumbo-Visma, you would imagine. We were talking a lot about UAE's tactics yesterday, and we saw Wout van Aert and Jumbo-Visma, his frustration at the finish. How much will that frustration play into the team dynamics there, do you think, Adam?
Not too much. I don't think it'll play into it too much. No, not all. The goal of this Tour de France is to win the Tour de France, not to win stages. It's important that they do that. But Wout van Aert is super professional, I think, and I think he knows the big goal coming into it. He will be frustrated, but I don't think he'll let that show going into the rest of the race. And I'm sure Jonas would have probably apologised, but I just think, as I said yesterday, I think he's so new to cycling that he's just not got that experience and the quick thinking mind in to know what to do that's almost second nature. And I think for him, he'd have probably looked after and been like, oh, yeah, maybe I could have helped there, but I was just so worried about GC. And Wout can't be angry at him for that. He can be disappointed, but I don't think he can be angry at it because that would have not been mentioned in a team meeting. It would have just been expected to happen. You can see Wout van Aert there, how angry he was, throwing his bottle down. I mean, that would be a good collector's item.
It would indeed, but we know that we all spotted that, but Tadej Pogacar and Adam Yates also spotted it. And the cameras were there when Pogacar was having, I don't know, a bit of a laugh or certainly imitating Wout van Aert. There's been a little bit of blowback on this, Robbie, from social media and people suggesting that maybe Tadej is being disrespectful. It's just perfectly human, isn't it? That you're saying, did you see that? Did you see his reaction? I mean, we do it to you when you have your tantrums in the morning.
No, of course, yeah. I mean, my tantrums have been well documented
as well.
They're the only ones you see.
If I was Wout van Aert, I would have thrown my toys out of the cot as well. And I think it's just normal for Tadej Pogacar to say, oh, you know, this happened, then this happened, and then that happened, and I nearly bounced up into my face, and just to recount, you know, the experience. And I don't think he was ever saying, like, oh, what a baby or anything like that. I don't think he was making fun of him. He was just pointing out the situation.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
I think when we first saw it, I think this is the same for a lot of other people watching, we assumed it was just what he'd done across the finish line. We hadn't seen the bottle throw that came after the disappointment of the finish line. So, yeah, just explaining to his teammate Adam Yates, who was much further back in the group, what Wout had done as he crossed the line. So I don't think we can say that he was being particularly childish or anything. Well, maybe we can. I know certainly a lot of people have at this point. I'm in two minds about Jonas. Like, he did the right thing in not working with Pogacar, you know, and that was selfless because had he ridden to the finish line with Pogacar, the worst he would have done was losing 4 bonus seconds, the difference between first and second on the line. He could have potentially lost 6 bonus seconds. You know, if Lafayette wasn't away, Wout van Aert probably would have won and Pogacar would have come second and Vingegaard wouldn't have got any bonus seconds. So then the difference is 6. So he's already been selfless. But I still do feel like it would only have taken a few hundred metres of work. And it wouldn't have been dangerous. There's a 3-second time rule on that as well. So even if he'd been slightly distanced, there's almost no chance of him losing any time at the end of that stage.
It's an interesting discussion, and it's been raging online, hasn't it, Robbie? But we just saw a moment ago when, to break down exactly what you're saying, Dan, when they had sprinted for the bonus seconds over the final climb, Tadej Pogacar looks behind and urges Jonas to come with him. We can bring this to the line and distance everyone else, and then it's a race between us for the foreseeable. Jonas shakes his head. No, the team plan today is to work for Wout van Aert, or at least leave the race scenarios open for him to be able to go for the win. You've got to think, as defending champion, to defend Jonas here, that as a GC leader in that team, that is job done. He's done enough to be able to support Wout van Aert's chances at the finish, even if he doesn't then do an extra job on the front in some sort of a lead-out.
Jonas would have stuck to the plan that was outlined in the team bus in the morning from the directors, and he just followed that to the letter. This is what we're going to do. We're not doing anything crazy. And he doesn't ride as an opportunist. And I think that also points to how he rode at the end, or didn't ride on the front at the end for Wout, because he's not an opportunist. He doesn't see things and go, oh, this is a reaction I can make now and it's the right one. He says, this is the plan, so I'm not riding, I'm not going off trying to nibble away at seconds, and he's going to go for the one big hammer blow when they get to the high mountain.
This is what Tadej needs, though, I think. He needs that person that is doing everything to the T. If he had another rider going up against him as he was, if there's 2 of them doing what they do, you both get into the mountains and it could just explode. So I think Tadej needs someone that almost goes up against him but stops him racing. You imagine if yesterday if he said, yeah, I'm going to work with you, yes, we'd have had a brilliant final fighting it out between those 2, but I think Tadej then would have done the expected, won the stage, and then it would have just been, OK, what was the point point in that, Jonas? Why are you doing that? So I think Tadej needs that almost to make him a little bit angry, to be like, I know you're going to follow me. And I know
reserved,
you're gonna do that.
maybe.
Exactly, but I think that fires Tadej up even more, where he's like, I know what you're going to do, and I know you're not going to help because of Wout and all that kind of stuff, but he's recognising that, sitting back a bit as well and be like, OK, if you're not going to work, there's no point in me doing it, but I'm going to show you in the sprint finish and try and get some seconds, which he did.
There are so many mind games amongst them all, and they know each other so well, they respect each other so well, but they'll be dealing those blows each and every opportunity that they get. Well.